Welcome to Change the History. Here, history is being rewritten. So far, we know how impactful the decisions that shape history have been. But what if those decisions were made differently? This is exactly what we question. What would the world be like if the decisions of the past had been made by someone else? Today, we will take you to one of the darkest moments in history, April 26, 1986, Chernobyl. A nuclear power plant, a safety test, and a single decision by one man. How did this decision change the lives of millions? And if this decision had been made with the traits of a different zodiac sign, could the outcome have been different? Let's find out. April 26, 1986, in the town of Pripyat, Ukraine. It was an ordinary night. At exactly 1:23 a.m., one of the greatest disasters in human history occurred. The No. 4 reactor at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded during a safety test. But this was not just an explosion, it was an uncontrollable chain reaction. Radioactive material spread into the atmosphere in an instant. In just a few seconds, thousands of tons of energy were released, tearing the reactor's roof off and filling the entire area with radioactive steam. The first responders had no idea what they were dealing with. Radiation levels were so high that the measurement devices malfunctioned. People were unknowingly exposed to radiation while they slept in their homes. Meanwhile, technicians at the reactor were desperately trying to understand the impact of the explosion. But it was too late. The catastrophe had already begun. This explosion didn't just affect Pripyat. It affected the entire world. Radiation clouds spread across much of Europe. Agricultural lands were contaminated, water sources were poisoned. Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia were the most affected regions. Pripyat was completely evacuated and remains a ghost town to this day. The land around Chernobyl has become too dangerous for human habitation for hundreds of years. But why did this disaster happen? There was one undeniable truth. This was the result of human error. And that human was Deputy Chief Engineer Anatoly Dyatlov. His single decision changed the course of history. So, what would you have done if you were in Dyatlov's place that night? Now, let's explore this question together. Anatoly Dyatlov was a Soviet engineer who served as Deputy Chief Engineer at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Born on March 3, 1931, in the Krasnoyarsk region of Russia, Dyatlov specialized in nuclear engineering and worked on reactors used in Soviet submarines. In 1986, he was responsible for reactor No. 4 during the safety test at Chernobyl. That night, he decided to continue the test at low power against safety protocols. Despite warnings from his staff, he did not stop the test, leading to one of the greatest nuclear disasters in history. After the disaster, Dyatlov became the target of heavy criticism. He was charged with gross negligence and sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, due to health problems caused by radiation exposure, he was released before completing his sentence. Dyatlov passed away in 1995 from bone marrow cancer. Dyatlov remains one of the symbolic names of the Chernobyl disaster. Some see him as an irresponsible leader, while others argue he was a victim of the system's flaws. Anatoly Dyatlov was born on March 3, 1931, making him a Pisces. Understanding the traits of the Pisces zodiac sign can help us analyze his decision-making process and behavior during the Chernobyl disaster. Here is an analysis of how the positive and negative traits of his zodiac sign may have contributed to his actions. Pisces individuals are often known for their strong intuition. However, sometimes their intuition can lead them away from reality, causing them to cling to their own biases or illusions. Dyatlov ignored the warnings of his staff when he decided to proceed with the tests. Perhaps his reliance on procedures rather than his intuition prevented him from foreseeing the danger. Pisces individuals may appear emotionally flexible, but when fixated on an idea or ideal, they can become stubborn. Dyatlov displayed a rigid, authoritarian attitude, choosing to continue the test rather than stop it. This determination to complete the procedure at any cost was one of the key factors in the disaster. Under pressure, Pisces individuals can make emotional decisions and lose their rationality. In a critical moment, Dyatlov displayed harsh and unsympathetic behavior towards his staff. This undermined their trust in him and created a crisis within the team. While Pisces are known for their empathy, under stress, they can lose this trait and become indifferent to those around them. Dyatlov ignored the concerns and fears of his staff. His decisions were based solely on procedures and authority, completely disregarding the human factor. Pisces individuals have a dreamy nature. This can sometimes cause them to underestimate real risks or take consequences lightly. By assuming the reactor was safe, Dyatlov developed a misplaced confidence that the test would succeed. This prevented him from grasping the severity of the risks and ultimately cost him the opportunity to prevent the disaster. The shadow side of Pisces and the Chernobyl disaster. Anatoly Dyatlov's actions highlight the complexities of human nature and how individual decisions can impact history. If Dyatlov had embraced the intuitive and empathetic traits of his zodiac sign over his stubborn and rigid tendencies, perhaps this tragedy could have been averted. What would you have done? Imagine a cold night. It's 1:23 a.m. You're in the control room of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Alarm lights are flashing, and everyone is in a panic. Your staff looks to you, their eyes filled with fear and helplessness. They're waiting for your decision. And at that moment, the fate of the world rests in your hands. What would you do? Would you stop the test? Perhaps insist on following procedures? Or take a completely different path? Anatoly Dyatlov made a decision that night. But what if that decision had been made by someone else? How would history have changed? A Virgo might have analyzed the risk and stopped the test immediately. An Aries might have boldly ordered the system to shut down. Or a Libra might have listened to the team's ideas and found a balanced solution. And what about you? What would you have done if you were there that night? Would you like to see how other zodiac signs would have approached the Chernobyl disaster? Discover the perspectives of each sign by watching our other videos. Find your zodiac sign in our Chernobyl-themed videos and uncover the alternative scenario that matches you best. Don't forget to support our channel to keep the content coming. Subscribe, like our videos, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback means the world to us and keeps us motivated. Now, it's time to explore our other videos.